story. It's a test of faith. This is a story of a single black man who's struggling to raise a young man with great potential to have respect for people in one of the greatest difficult neighborhoods in Ypsilanti. I had been in recovery for over a year when Barry was born. I had been struggling with a cocaine addiction for over 20 years, at least. I had been introduced to it at the age of 17. Always a functional addict, but I struggled with it. I was an athlete who had gotten injured. I was also in the National Guards. I got injured there, too. I got honorable discharge with no benefits. I was depressed. In order to recover, I had to get tired. And I did. I realized that the life that I was living, I didn't want my son to live. And I had to change. So I did. I prayed every day for a son. I was going to church several times a week, and Barry was an answer to my prayers. But things were not smooth because his mother struggled with substances, life, and everything else. Her and I just battled. So 3 years ago, we were at an impasse with Barry. He was in the 4th grade. His mom was going back and forth to jail. Barry was cussing his mom out, fighting her, and running out at night. It was a difficult situation for me. He was really struggling in school, and we got connected with the Student Advocacy Center, the mentoring program. That gave Barry an opportunity to have somebody to talk to that he wasn't related to, and it gave him a sense of security. But the conditions at home were still hard because I was trying to do one thing and his mom was doing something else. Barry just seemed to be caught in the middle. The reason I stayed with her so long is because I was raised by my mom alone, youngest of 6, and I wanted him to have his mom and dad. But I fought my wife's drug addiction and mine as long as I could. And when I couldn't do it anymore, I decided I wasn't going to lose him to the streets. So I divorced her. I told him that your mom almost killed us, man, but that wasn't your fault. I apologized for everything that had happened to him. And I promised that he'd never have to live like that again. We'd be fine. That was our goal. But a lot of stuff went down. His mom was released from jail, and I let her stay at my house while I stayed at another house in the neighborhood close by. At that time, some things happened that caused CPS to come in the house and pull him from me. They bounced this kid around like he was a toy. They didn't come to our home to try to find out what was going on and try to help us. He was put in home after home, placement after placement, like 6 in 1 year. At one point, it was like he was at the placement every month. They couldn't keep this kid safe. They placed him with his 18-year-old sister, and she wasn't ready for that. They placed him with a man here in Ypsilanti who beat him, and they did nothing. They sent him back to Adrian, to his sister. At another placement, he was suicidal. He called me, and I responded, and they never responded back. So when he came home, I took him to the hospital at St. Joe, and they were full. You've never seen a kid bounced around so much. He was in Brighton, Madison, Ypsi, Adrian, Kalamazoo, all over the place. I was getting no help, but I was being held responsible for all of his consequences. In school, he couldn't cope. He was disruptive and loud. He was messing with folks. He wasn't fighting with other children, but he just couldn't control himself. But it wasn't his fault. He wasn't getting any help. Student Advocacy Center was there for him again. They assigned an education advocate, Miss Angelina, who was able to support him no matter where he went. And I was elated that he had that kind of support. I wanted my son to be educated at any cost. I wanted to get this kid to a place where he could be comfortable enough to be stabilized so that he could learn. I wanted my kid back. I took parenting class after parenting class. I went wherever and whenever they wanted me to go get him. I participated in all his assessments to get the support that he needed. I always complied with all their demands. Every time that I would meet a bar, they would move it. No matter what, I needed my son back. And I would do anything and whatever that they needed me to do to get it done. Then he came back home. Barry got back home this summer. I told him, man, I love you. No matter what, I know things have been rough, but your life is so full of surprises. If you just stick with me and work things out, you can have all the things that you desire in your life. So, here we are, 7th grade. This past year was rough. And he didn't have the support he needed in the school. That was when the Student Advocacy Program stepped up again. We kept asking for IEPs and nothing happened. We kept getting it swept under the rug. But as soon as Miss Angelina filed the complaint, and that complaint hit Ladensee, everything started happening. Everyone wanted to respond. They finally got Barry some support. The staff person took the time to find out exactly what he was interested in. That's what we need. These kids are hurt. They need someone to find out what they like, what they care about. All of a sudden, we got him more support. We got him tutoring. Social workers are now in the schools. They implemented travel cards that he can take back and forth to classes. I'm up at the schools a couple times a week, making sure that I'm available so that I keep a good rapport with them. Barry's story is ongoing, and we still have hard times ahead, but we can't give up on these kids. My dream is to have a place here in Ypsilanti like the Girls and Boys Club. Of course, they don't have the Girls and Boys Club anymore. So the student advocacy has came into the picture and it's changed his viewpoint about school completely. Student advocacy makes a difference for all of the children of the inner city who get left out and the ones that are economically challenged. I believe that we all share the responsibility to find out what the truth is so that we can help our youth. We have to do better at educating them. We have to love them because we don't want to lose this generation of kids. These are the children of our future. I'd like to thank the SAC program for everything that you've done, because without you guys, there would have been no way that my son would have been able to stay in these schools. This program really is needed in this area. If there's any other thing that we can do to help our kids, we got to support them some kind of way. We got to love on them, see if we can get some type of entertainment, something to give these kids a sense of well-being back at home. Thank you so much.